All right, so we're going to talk about these dental cavities and the truth that your dentist wish you knew. So you brush your teeth every day. So why are you still getting cavities? I know it can be frustrating, right? You do what you're supposed to do, then you visit the dentist, and then boom, there's another one. A lot of patients are like, man, what's going on here? I brush my teeth, I floss, I'm doing everything you're telling me to, but I'm still getting cavities. Can you break it down to me why I keep getting these cavities? It's not right. And I get it, man. Why does this keep happening? And what can I do to stop them for good? So I think before we jump into the topic, I think the best thing to do is to explain to you what a cavity is. A cavity is basically a hole in your tooth caused by bacteria. This bacteria feeds on sugars in your mouth, and these sugars get into your mouth by the things that you eat. What happens is these sugars first attack the enamel, which is the outer covering of your teeth, and then they gradually move into the other layers. Sounds simple, right? But here's the twist about cavities. They don't just happen overnight. They actually form over time. And in most cases, you don't even feel them until they get pretty deep. So they have to move from the enamel into the dentin and then into the pulp. And by the time it gets to the pulp or dentin, it really starts to hurt. So with that, by the time you start to feel pain or sensitivity, the cavity has already reached the inner layers of the tooth, possibly even the nerve, depending on how you present to the clinic. Now, this is why regular checkups are so important, because your dentist can catch them before they cause you any pain. How do we do that? We take x-rays, we do a clinical exam, and those things coupled together kind of help us to determine what's actually going on with you. So the real reason why people get cavities is most people think cavities happen because they don't brush enough. And although that is partly true, there's actually more to the story. The real culprit is your diet and your oral environment. Sugary and acidic foods create the perfect breeding ground for cavity-causing bacteria. Therefore, even if you brush twice a day, you're consistently sipping on soda and snacking on candy, you're giving the bacteria food or fuel to what they need to actually thrive to create that cavity, right? So how do you stop the cavities? So what do you think? What can you do? A lot of times what I see with patients is they start to brush harder, but this isn't the answer. What this actually does is it breaks down the enamel or the protective layer of your teeth by brushing too hard, and it makes the problem even worse. Instead of focusing on brushing effectively, which means that you have to brush 2 minutes a day, twice a day, and use fluoride toothpaste. Therefore, the fluoride actually helps to strengthen the enamel, and it makes it more resistant to this acidic attacks that the bacteria wants to have. You also have to understand, brushing alone isn't enough. You also have to floss. Why? Because cavities love to hide in small spaces. They hide between your teeth. That is where the toothbrush can't reach. And that is why a lot of people don't choose to floss at all. They choose to just brush their teeth, and they think that, because teeth are bright and smiling and everything looks good, that they don't have to floss. But flossing is also another big part of the game. Brushing actually helps us to cover about 60% of the tooth. Now, when we're flossing, that's going to be the other 40%. And so we have to brush the whole entire tooth and not just one little small portion of the tooth. What's the game changer? What do I recommend that you do if you're starting to get a lot of cavities? Like I said earlier, you might be doing everything right, but if you're not seeing the results that you want, you may need to add mouth rinses. You're also going to need to adjust your diet, and you're going to have to cut down on those sugary drinks. You're going to also have to finally start to drink a whole lot more water than you do to really see a huge difference when it comes to these cavities that keep forming. If you're someone that constantly gets cavities, even though you brush and floss, it might be time to rethink your habits. Small changes like drinking water instead of juice or using fluoride mouthwash can help to stop the cavities even before they start. If caught early enough, you can definitely start to remineralize a lot of the enamel if the cavity has not cavitated, meaning that it hasn't created a hole. So what do I need you to do? Now that you know the truth about cavities, what causes them, and why they keep coming back, you have to start to take these steps so you can stop them from good. If you found this helpful, hit that button. And if you have any questions, I encourage you to drop them in the chat. Remember, taking care of your teeth isn't just about brushing. It's about having the smart habits that you need to keep your smile healthy and happy for the rest of your life. Y'all be blessed, man. I'll see you real soon.